Good evening, everyone. This is Julie Bartkus. Welcome to another episode of the Childcare Business Success Show. I am so excited about our topic this evening because it's one that me and my team struggle with, and I'm sure it's one that you want to get your brain around too, which is all about social media and how do you weed out the things that you need to be doing and the things that you don't really need to be doing. And it's all about building connections and building those relationships. So tonight, one of my special friends, Bobby Bainey, is here to join us to help us shed some light on all the things that we should be doing that will be really impactful to grow our childcare businesses. Are you excited to be here? I know I am. So if you're here, say hello before I bring Bobby up to join me. I'd love to hear from you. And remember, we are giving away prizes. So tonight, for our most engaged participant or our most engaged viewer, you're going to get some of the yummiest brownies on the planet. So make sure that you're engaged in the comment section. And my team, Jana, is here, and I think Loretta will be chiming in as well. And then we also have our marketing video, which will be our prize for the most engaged group member in our Childcare Business Success group. And if you're not yet part of that group, I encourage you to do so. So make sure, Jana will drop the link for you. Make sure you go and join our Childcare Business Success group so you can get involved with that prize. But basically every single week, we're looking for who's the most engaged member, including up through the evening of the show. And then you have the opportunity to win a video marketing video that you can customize for your own use. And we'll give you examples of what that looks like in the group page. But it's an awesome prize and just a lot of fun to put together for you as well. All right, so if you're here, say hello. Hey, Stephanie, nice to see you here. So Stephanie is one of my team members, and she is here. We're getting a thumbs up. Regina, oh my goodness, Regina's tuning in. This must be a good topic if Regina is here. Nice to see you, Regina. All right, who else do we have tuning in? Yep, and Jana is already here. So Jana's my manager, and she's going to be interacting with everybody this evening. But if you're here, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if there are any questions that you have that you would really love answered on this evening show, make sure you ask them. And I'll try to bring those to my guest attention. Tim Carter, gotta show Tim. Hey, Tim. Tim's one of our mentorship members. And Tim, it's a delight to have you here. And I saw your video, and I can't wait to see more from you. So Tim is amazing. Childcare owner. All right, who else is here? I know we've got more people on the line with us. All right, and John is saying hello to everybody. Fantastic. All right, and if you're tuning in, make sure you hop on over to some of your director or owner groups and let them know that the Childcare Business Success Show is happening. And I think this is episode number 10, I think. Is that right, Jana? Have we done 10 episodes already of our Childcare Business Success Show? And we're also going to be transcribing each episode for you. So not only can you tune in to the replay and gain all the information that way, but you'll also be able to have in your hands the transcripts of the show. So you can sit there with your highlighter and pick out the golden nuggets that you want to implement to grow your childcare business and to, have more success in your life as well. All right. Yep. Jana says, yep, 10 shows. All right. Very cool. And I'm really excited. So I'm not going to wait too long to bring Bobby into our studio here. But I also want to let you know that Bobby and I have several connections, and maybe you could guess what those connections are as we progress through this evening's show. And that will count towards our engagement prize. And remember, the most engaged person for this evening gets the yummiest brownies on the planet. And if you are in our group, and you're the most engaged for the week, including through this evening, you win our video marketing prize. All right, so I'm gonna bring Bobby up to join me in the studio because you know what? We're only gonna go for an hour, but she has so much information. And of course, we're gonna tell you how you can get more from Bobby as well. Hey, Bobby.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you? I've gotta hide this last comment. Here we go, wait, hide current comment. Ooh, okay, let me show you. Bobby, it is so much fun to have you here. Thank you for being here with me.
You are so welcome. I love your audience, so it's great to be here.
Yes, and Bobby actually joined me at a conference back a couple of years ago when we were doing the Childcare Business Success Conference. And not only on that stage did she provide a ton of valuable content, But every time I watch her videos, she's always so incredibly excited to share the most valuable thing that we need to know about Facebook, about Instagram, about Snapchat. And quite honestly, I can't keep up with it all. But one thing that really intrigues me is Instagram and really prioritizing our social media plan of action. So Bobby's really going to set us on a straight path tonight. And then we want to also plug them into your group, Bobby, so they can continue to follow you and just gain the wisdom that you have. But before we dive into some of the juicy content, let me ask you, what really turned you on to helping people with their social media? So what is your why?
Well, I was raised in a small business, so we have a family business. And I've just been incredibly passionate about small business owners. It's such a challenge to own your own business. You wear so many hats. You don't always get that corporate support. So you're trying to figure out just so many different things. And quite honestly, I've never understood how anybody runs a business and figures out what the heck changed in social media while they were sleeping last night. It's just been really rewarding to be able to support the people that I'm so passionate about and literally think are the foundation of this country. And at the same time, I have been a social media fan since it launched. So that in and of itself was kind of a passion, and just lucky I get to marry those two things up and offer some value and help people out.
Fantastic. What kind of business did your family own? I didn't know this about you.
Oh, yeah, we own, I did. So we have a gravel pit, a gravel mining operation. We call it the pit. Yeah. Okay. And so we all started working pretty much by the time we hit junior high. We all had jobs, but that also was kind of our home away from home. It was where we played. We grew up with dirt bikes and four-wheelers and mud and dirt, and just an awesome way to grow up, but you had to work hard to get to play hard. And so, yeah, that was we still have that business. I spent the weekend there, and everyone's involved kind of in a different way. It's kind of grown into a number of businesses. And of course I do their social media and web design and help support my sister who's been launching some new things there too. So yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, that's very cool. So do I know where this gravel pit is? Is it someplace
it's in McHenry? Yeah, it was right next door to Holiday Hills, the gravel pit that was connected to Holiday Hills.
I was wondering because a lot of us went, well, I didn't, but a lot of people in the neighborhood would go there to swim, right?
Yeah, we chased them all out our whole life.
Right. Well, I think
my friends too, but yeah.
Right. I think that was the fun of it, was going there and swimming. Yeah. Okay. So I grew up in Holiday Hills and the pit was right next to us.
Yeah, that's small awesome. World. See, and you didn't even know that about me.
I didn't. I was kind of having a feeling that was the pit that you were talking about. I'm like, is that the one that all the kids went and swam at and got in trouble and chased out?
That's the one. That's the one.
Small world. See, so we've got some connections, and we'll be revealing more to our viewers as we progress. So you just have a fascination with social media, because I really think it takes a special person to want to tune into all the technicalities involved with social media. And as business owners, we try to do everything. And we have owners out there and directors who do everything from fixing the toilets to filling their childcare program with dreamy staff to, handling all the client relationships with parents. So we're really doing A through Z in our businesses. And social media, for a period of time, I got super absorbed in it. I became fascinated by it, but I found that it was 100% time consuming. Yes. And I do not see how our owners can manage, their own social media to the extent that they really need to be effective and do all the other aspects of running their business. Because if you're going to stay on top of it, it is just in-depth, time consuming.
It is. And you really have to go into it with a strategy for what do I need to get done? Where can I be most effective? Because if you don't, man, can it be a time suck in so many ways as well? Because, you go on there to do one thing. Next thing you know, you're watching your friend's cat have kittens. And, it's tough.
I call it my black hole sometimes, Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like I just go on there because we've got so many groups that we manage for childcare business success, and I go into one of them, and then it's like, okay, what's this video about? And the baby can see now, or the person didn't hear before, now they can hear, and or, oh my goodness, look how good they can dance. So you get
exactly
into all these places. So so you're a business owner as well. How do you prioritize where you're going to spend your time? So being a social media company, and your company's Think Big, Go Local,
Yes.
And you also have a group page that you manage that I encourage everybody to go and join if Bobby will have you. I think she will. But it's Bobby's Social Media Clam Bake. And I think, Jonna, you could find it if you could drop the link in for everybody so they can hop over to Bobby's group and make sure that they join, because you're going to continue to get amazing information from Bobby in that group. But as a business owner, how do you prioritize where you're putting your social media efforts? Because I know you could go on Instagram, link Instagram to your Facebook. You could do Facebook by itself. So help us put it together. So you're the expert. What do you do for your own company?
Well, I'm probably kind of unique, and I would not recommend this strategy to everybody, but we need to be everywhere, and I need to be everywhere because I need people to see that I'm engaged and active in all those platforms, because I teach literally almost every social media channel. So we're kind of all over the place. But that's because that's also the nature of our business. So I need to hit up people wherever they're spending their time, and somebody that's looking for a social media expert could be in any of those platforms. So we're pretty stretched. Lucky for me, we've got a phenomenal team of social media managers. So I'm kind of to the point in my business where I don't have to be promoting for all the companies we represent. I'm focusing on just our business. With that being said, I will say Instagram has become probably my absolute favorite platform, but I'm also seeing Facebook start to make some pretty important changes that are really helpful to small businesses too. So we're kind of spending the majority of our time in those two places. I love that they're connected because I can spend half my time in, I can get double the exposure in Facebook and Instagram if you do it right. So that's kind of where we're at. But we are on Twitter and we're on YouTube, and we're not so much on Snapchat anymore because I just can't manage all of it. But we're all over the place. All over the place.
So Facebook and Instagram, those are two important elements that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw a little thing in here too, because I know your audience all have physical brick and mortar locations. We used to hear about Google Plus, kind of a waste of time. But Google My Business is probably one of the most important platforms you can have set up for your small business. And now they allow you to post there, and you can put up a post and it'll stay for a week. So it's not the social media content you're putting up maybe on a daily basis, but it's Google and we cannot ignore them. And that's where we want reviews left to help boost our website. So that's another place that I would encourage your audience to kind of sort through and spend a little bit of time. Fortunately, not daily time, but to just carve out I go there on Monday morning and I put up something exciting for the week. It's going to help boost your overall search engine optimization, which is good for everybody. So that's not one to ignore.
So how intricate do you get with laying out your plan of action for the week or the month in terms of where you're going to be and when? I'll be transparent, tend to fly by the seat of my pants. And it's like, when I feel like doing a video and going live, I go live. Do you have it laid out where you have like a social media calendar in place where you're like, okay, going live here, I'm doing this here, and I'm doing that here?
Yeah. So the answer should be, oh yes, of course. But
and it's not.
It's not. So, there are certain aspects of our business that are very regimented. So I'll give you a couple examples. We do a show every Monday. And so that is very scheduled. We know when we're going to put up our promotional posts. We know when we'll be live. So we let everybody know that's happening. So that particular piece of the business is pretty well scripted. When we do courses and we've got classes, that's scripted as well. We know when we want to get the event up. We schedule out our posts for that particular course so people are getting notified because it's a revenue generator. We need to make that priority. But a lot of the other things are kind of, I'm in our group, we really like to let people know what's changed. What do you need to know as a small business owner? And that stuff just pops up. So a lot of those times, if something new is happening, I'll just go live because it's just too much content to try to type out a post for. So, when things that happen in the group are kind of by the seat of our pants, because Lord knows what happened last night, and we might need to let you know the next day.
Right.
So that one's different. But for our clients, And for most of our clients, we do all their social media content for them. That's all very scripted. We know every Monday what the topic will be, and then we kind of fill in the blanks with a valuable post related to that. We know we have a percentage of what's going to be promotional, what's going to be informational, what's going to be fun. And so we know on any given day what we're going to put out there for them. So we're a little bit more on top of things when it comes to clients. Due to the nature of our business, a little more by the seat of our pants.
Okay. So, when we think about our social media strategy, we hear lots of things from a lot of different experts saying, here's what you should be doing. What would you say are some of the biggest myths that people are telling us, here's what you should be doing, but you have found in your business, in terms of the results that you get, that these things don't really matter too much?
Yeah, well, things change so quickly. So I don't want to say that advice was bad, because it was probably great advice in the moment. and then things just change fast in this industry.
Right.
One of the things is people saying, oh, you have to be posting so many times a day. Well, the reality is Facebook's not showing anybody anything you put out there for the most part anyways. So I think we have to develop new strategies, because that static content is getting seen by like 1% to 4% of your audience, which stinks. But we don't own Facebook, so we don't get to make those decisions for them. So, I think we need to start getting more strategic about actual relationships, and not so much about just the content that's being put out there on a daily basis. One little tip that I think isn't being talked about enough is the value of direct messages with potential clients. Everyone's putting posts up and not realizing that you can make probably 10 times the impact by reaching out to that one individual that made a comment or something like that, and really building that relationship, or finding ways to encourage people to send you a direct message so you can get that relationship, flowing too. So, content's just getting tough to be seen. Everyone talks about video content, and it's really, really important, but they're not giving enough specifics about video content. So just, I have people go, oh, we're going to create a video and post it on Facebook. Is it going to be live? No. Okay, then that's not going to get all that much views. Are you going to put it on your website? Or I have people blogging. I hear that all the time. You have to have a blog. And I know so many people that have started blogs because they were told they should, and then don't have any strategy for how to share that information. So it seems like a complete and utter waste of my time. This is not one of those industries where build it and they will come. It's just not that place. You've got to know how to distribute. You've got to know how to get attention. You've got to know how to attract engagement. There's just a whole lot to every piece of it that you've really got to weed through to make it count.
Okay. All right. So we don't have to be posting on Facebook 3 times, 4 times a day. Yeah. So what do you think is the most valuable post we can be making on video, on Facebook? And that's what I always think, is that it's doing live video, because it's basically interrupts everybody who is on Facebook and a follow of yours. So to me, it would be like, and we do a lot of, and if you join our Childcare Business Success group, you get messages from us. So we message you saying, welcome to our group, and give you hugs and love and all that kind of stuff. So to me, it's like live video and personal messages, but not the sponsored messages, the personal messages.
Right, exactly. I mean, here's the reality. Nobody's on Facebook to buy anything from us, sign up for anything from us. That's just the reality. So you hit it on the head when you said we've got to abrupt people in the news feed to kind of get them to pay attention to what we're doing. So those, routine posts, they're great, but I am a firm believer in live video on a routine basis, because of all the opportunity to get it noticed. You get a little pop-up on your phone, or a notification, a pop-up on your desktop. And guess what? Now you get to watch that video while you're scrolling through your feed, and you don't get to do that with any other Facebook content. So that's a pretty big deal. Another thing that I think people really have to embrace and fast are stories. Instagram has stories, Facebook has stories. And Facebook literally said just last week that they are anticipating story views taking over newsfeed views pretty quickly. Why? I don't totally know yet, except it's authentic created content. It tends to be a little bit more interesting in the moment. there's a sense of if I don't watch it now, it'll be gone tomorrow. So there's kind of this urgency to pay attention to it. And I really think that's a space that people need to really start focusing on, because if you focus on it now and that shift happens, you win, versus creating things that nobody's looking at because they're paying attention to stories instead of, scrolling through the news feed.
So with stories, is that something special that you create, or do you just turn a post into a story?
Oh no, totally create it uniquely. So if you don't mind, I'll kind of run through sort of what those look like for people that maybe aren't doing them yet.
Sure.
Instagram kind of launched that stories feature. So in Instagram, you can do a post, or you can do a story, or you can do like live video. So they've got some options. When you do a story in Instagram, it lives for 24 hours and disappears. So all that graphic design, making sure it's like the perfect visual and all of that sort of thing kind of falls to the wayside because people aren't expecting that. They're expecting an in the moment, impromptu photo or video or tip or whatever it might be. And now in Instagram, you can, by the flip of a switch, send it right to Facebook. So people can see your Instagram story in Instagram, or they can see it in Facebook if they spend more time there. So you're kind of getting that double exposure and only literally having to do the work once. Now, if you're not on Instagram yet, we're going to convince you of it before we're done here, but you can create stories in Facebook too, right on, on the Facebook mobile app and accomplish the same thing. A couple things I really love about stories, which are pretty comparable to posts, are that you can actually do like geotag stickers. So if you've got a childcare business in a certain demographic, certain market, and you tag that market, people that are searching for stories locally are going to come across it. So you get that same benefit that you get checking in or tagging businesses. So I love it for that. I also love it for all the other fun stickers and gift stickers. And there's just so many fun, creative things you can do in there that you really get the opportunity to kind of build your brand and tell people what they can expect from your business and your personality and your brand based on kind of how creative and fun you kind of get in your stories. And they're little digestible pieces of value. So we don't have to, tune in, or we don't have to read anything. They're literally like 15 seconds of what can you fit in and tell me in this little time to kind of display a little bit of yourself or what you do or what you believe in or what's happening in your business that day or something behind the scenes, which people love and we all forget about because we're bored with it because we do it every day. Stories are fantastic. And I've been doing them from the day they're launched, and I'm watching viewership and engagement increase literally every single week, nonstop. So the platform's growing, and it's time everybody jumps in before your competitors do it. And people aren't, if people get used to watching something of yours, those platforms build that into their algorithm. Like, oh, look, Bobby loves watching Julie. We're going to show her more Julie. Where if someone got in before you, and I was watching them, it's going to be really hard to, make that shift. So it's time. It's just time for everybody to jump in there.
So with your stories, personal stories, professional stories, just what you're doing?
I think that's
what you're feeling.
I think you want to sort of combine all of them. But, what do you want to be to somebody? Like, hands down, no doubt, if Julie did stories, it would primarily be value for your childcare owner audience. And then, kind of peppered with the things about you that people love, the things that make them want to have a relationship with you, maybe versus somebody else. So for me, my stories, I try to give tips. I try to offer insight into the business. What am I doing next? But you are going to see pictures of the beautiful flowers on my deck and, other ways that I prep for my day or come down from my day because that's important to me. So, there's like some brand building, personality building in addition to what's the main value I want to offer to people, So for your childcare owners, that may be, glimpses of what's happening, in their, center on any given day or introductions to their staff. So they have to kind of wrap their head around, am I trying to build credibility and trust with people? Do I want them to see the fun and innovative things we're doing during the day? Or having a combination of all these things and kind of drawing out what would my stories be on a daily basis so I can show those different aspects off to my audience or the parents that are tuning in or the parents' friends that I really want to show what we do so that they can become my next dreamy client. You got to kind of mix all of those things in there because that mixture makes it interesting for people too.
Absolutely. And, I think stories is like one of the most untapped profit centers. So we work a lot with our childcare owners and directors to really cultivate their stories and bring it to life. But your stories on social media could be all like little branches of what really connects you with your ideal clients. So, and a lot of times, sometimes it's a personal thing. Sometimes it might be a breed of dog that you are incredibly passionate about, but you're going to find the connection there with your parents who are searching for childcare. They're like, oh, she loves Siberian Huskies. I love Huskies. Let's make a connection.
It's such a great example. I got like the greatest deal ever on my Infusionsoft because my sales guy also had a rescue pit bull. And somehow he saw it and like, it was like, oh my God, and he's sending me pictures. And that's why you've got to pepper that in because you just never know what's going to just make people go, oh, that's my person. I love that. We share that interest.
Yes. And that's why you'll hear me talking about flowers. You'll hear me talking about dancing. It's all about the things that can connect your ideal people to you. So when it comes to Facebook and Instagram, how do you measure what you do separately and what you let flow from Instagram into your Facebook?
That's a great question because I personally don't send everything from Instagram to Facebook because if I'm doing something that's pretty specific to an Instagram story or I'm living in that platform or I'm talking about an Instagram live, I know my Facebook audience wouldn't consider it relevant. So I kind of think through, is this content that both audiences would think is relevant or not? Now, I would think a lot of businesses might not have to think that way. I think that way because I might be training on an Instagram tip versus something in Facebook. So it just really depends who your audience is in both spaces. Some people have a really young audience in Instagram, and then they may have a much more mature audience in Facebook. So the content might not transfer and be appreciated in the same way. So you really need to know and be watching your insights on any given platform as to who is your audience in that space. What age are they? Are they male? Are they female? Where do they live? Are they more local? Are they all over the place? And then make sure that the content's going to apply to them so you know whether it can be shared or whether it should be unique in each platform.
Woo!
Yeah, I know. There can be a lot to it, I'll tell you.
Instagram and Facebook and Google Business. So those are like the top 3 that we've been talking about. So, a lot of people are guided to get themselves on Snapchat because there's a lot of younger parents on Snapchat or Pinterest. We don't hear a lot about Pinterest anymore. Are those 2 platforms that people you feel should still dive into or stick with these top 2 or 3?
So in my personal opinion, I would stick with the top 2 or 3 because here's what I'm interested in, and knowing what your audience is Facebook and Instagram and Google My Business are very local focused. And we obviously know that nobody's driving 20 miles to bring somebody to the center, 20 miles out of their way. So building that local audience is really important for a lot of businesses that's who they depend on, for their client base. Snapchat is just really tough. And I don't want to say you shouldn't be doing it. But for one, it's very in the moment. You can't really schedule it. It's really difficult to manage. And it's also difficult to build up an audience. You don't get to provide a link to your Snapchat account on your website, so it's kind of tough. Who are you actually bringing into that space? Are they really your ideal client? How do you go out and tell them to be there? One use of Snapchat, though, that I think applies to a lot of businesses is the ability to do those Snapchat filters. So they have these geo filters. And if you're not a Snapchat user, they just made it really easy. I think everybody knows how to use those fun face filters on Snapchat. Yeah. Now, if you go all the way to the end of your options, you can create a geo filter. So say you have an open house or end of summer party, you're kicking something up for fall or at the end of the year. Maybe instead of having an account that you're trying to figure out how to manage, you do a geo filter. So those young parents that do come can actually do their Snapchat picture in your space with your custom filter, and then it goes out to their younger group of friends, and you get that visibility, and you really never had to create real content there. So we use Snapchat a lot in that way. We have one client, they're up by you, Julie, at the Corn Maze, who we don't do a Snapchat account for them, but we on any given weekend can reach 75,000 people by just doing a filter and letting everyone else do the marketing for us in that space. So that might be a good way to use that. Personally, I absolutely love Pinterest, but Pinterest doesn't do a lot of geotagging local stuff either. So spending time there you may be giving great value to parents, but you may not necessarily be bringing your next client in your door that way. If you sold something online, it would be a great place for you because it's not even really social media. Pinterest is actually more like YouTube. It's a search engine. It's not really social media content. So I wouldn't think that it'd be a revenue generator for your audience. We do it, and it's more for traffic. It's more because I need to know how that platform works at any given time. But right. I have never gotten a client from Pinterest and probably never will because that's just not our space. So I think locally focused things would be really good for, the audience that you've got.
All right. So if you're viewing or if you're tuning into this and you're using one of the social media platforms, let us know which ones you're using. So where are you active? Are you active on Pinterest? Are you active on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook? And how's it working for you? So we'd love to hear your comments, and we'll go through some of them in just a few moments. And remember, we have an engagement prize for this evening. You get some of the yummiest brownies on the planet. And so Jana and I think Loretta's in the chat too, also monitoring. But also we've got our marketing video that we're doing for the most engaged group member. And if you're not yet a member of the Childcare Business Success Group, Jana will drop the link for you again. I encourage you to come on over and join us in that group, and make sure you join Bobby's group as well, which Jana has been putting the link here also in the comments. Yay! But Bobby, why don't we tell our folks a little bit about Think Big, Go Local and what specifically you do and how you help business owners.
Oh, sure. So I was a early adopter of social media because Facebook launched the year my daughter went to college, and I thought that'd be a fun way to stalk. Bad idea, by the way. But I really got into it, and I started using it for the business I was working in at the time. And so I started Think Big, Go Local as a social media company. I was primarily doing, management of social media channels for small businesses, and pretty quickly learned that you can have great content in social media, but because of the reason people are spending their time in that platform, they're really not in that mode to buy from you right then and there. So it's really difficult to put up a post and have someone go, oh yeah, I need that click. We really needed to have great websites that converted people. So if we were promoting an event, there was a great website that talked elaborately about the value of the event or the value of the service. So a few years ago, I brought on a business partner. His name's Brian. He's awesome. And we've kind of split the business in half. So he handles everything. He does amazing web development. He does search engine optimization and all things Google, because I couldn't keep up anymore. And then I do all the social media side of things. So we do full management for businesses. We do consulting. We're doing a lot of Facebook advertising campaigns for business owners that know they need that to get seen, but really don't have the capacity to learn how to do it. And then we've got something pretty new. We have been doing in-person trainings in our office. We've got a training center here. And they were awesome, but we needed to reach more people. And I was getting all these requests that they couldn't get here and it was too far and they really want the class. So we launched the TBGL University on our website in the last few weeks. So we do online courses to teach small business owners how to leverage these different platforms or acquire skills in whether it's the advertising or whatever other things that they may need. So we serve them that way too. So we're just all over the place.
Fantastic. And what's your preference in terms of people contacting you? To go to your website?
The website's fine. You'll learn a little bit there, but I really spend all my time in social media. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook all the time. And, to go to Think Big, Go Local. I mean, we're at Think Big, Go Local everywhere, and send a direct message and say hello is a great way to get a conversation started and get questions answered. And yeah, that's a really good way to start a conversation.
Very cool. So if you're tuning in live or to the replay, go ahead and ask your questions if there's anything you would like to know about social media. And I will come back and look through your questions, and I'll also tag Bobby on the ones that you have for her so that she could come back and answer your questions as well if you're willing.
Absolutely.
And, fantastic. All right, let's see what some of our comments, let's see what's been going on here in our lobby. So here's Nancy. Nancy says that she's been using Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome.
And awesome. Let's see, who is this? Louis says hello. Nikki. I always feel like this is the romper room moment, you know.
Yeah, like, hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Nikki. Nikki won our big prize. I think it was last week. Sherry, hello. Nice to have you here. Ooh, Karen Cotter, nice to see you. She says, great ideas, connections. All right, so let's see if anybody else has any comments. Cheryl, I don't think we showed Cheryl yet. Cheryl says, cheers. And Diana says, this is so very true. Okay, I think those are some, we just have some highs with hearts.
Purple hearts even, yes!
Purple hearts, yes. I don't know about you, Bobby, but when you do these shows, well, you probably don't wear glasses, but when I do these, I try not to put my glasses on.
I do, and I don't like them, yeah, and I don't wear them either. So
I'm like squinting. I'm like, okay, who's saying hello?
Yep, I'm there.
So, all right, so I'm trying to do this without glasses. Maria says hello. I know we've got to get over that, right? We just got to put on the glasses.
I only have 14 pairs of them. I have to have one everywhere where I might have something to read. Yeah.
You know, that's really smart. I need to be doing more of that, having just the glasses everywhere. Okay, yeah. Very cool. All right, so we've got some good stuff going on in our comment section. I also see that Loretta has just joined us. Hey, Loretta, can I move you up to the lobby to say hello real quick? Can I get a thumbs up from you, Loretta, if you're able to do that? She might be frozen. All right. It sometimes happens. All right, Loretta, when you are ready, give me a thumbs up and I'll move you up just at least to say hello. But in the interim, know that Loretta is there along with Jana, monitoring who our prize winners are going to be. And if you're tuning in, now is a perfect time to shoot an email out to people who you feel can benefit from this program. Also, go post on some director groups or owner groups or your LinkedIn groups and let them know this is going on, because there are people just like me who are struggling with their social media and really getting it to be the support that they need or that you need to grow your business. So I'm so thrilled that Bobby is here with us answering questions. All right, Bobby, my big question is in Instagram. Do you want an Instagram account to be a personal account for you as the business owner, or should it be a business account, or should it be both? Because I'm a speaker and an author, and I've seen speaker and authors do different things where it takes on more of a personal a profile as opposed to a company profile. But what do you recommend? You know, you can make a recommendation for me if you want.
Sure.
Also for our childcare owners, what do you recommend for each one of us?
So if you have a personal account, awesome. I think we all, want to have that. I've got the 2 cutest grandkids on planet Earth, so I want to share that, and it's not like business content. But I think as a business owner, if you are at all interested in your personal brand and maybe your business brand, is they should both be business pages. So for you, Julie, as an example, your childcare business would have its own, obviously, business page. But even as a speaker, I'd want that to be a business page as well. And here's why. Business pages haven't been around that long, but they've got features that are going to help you to understand and grow your audience more and make it easier for them to connect with you. So as a business page, they can do that button to email, call, get directions, if that's probably not what, they'd be doing for you. But you also get those insights as to who watched these stories, exactly who comprises my audience, where do I need to focus more? It's kind of interesting. When I first started in Instagram, I went all in. And after really working it hard for about 6 months, I realized that my audience were millennial age guys that lived in New York, which was cool. And I should have thought about moving out to New York, for some young guys. But I know that a lot of that is because Gary Vaynerchuk is like my idol. And I was, doing a lot of different things and tagging him. And whatever. And I think I was attracting the audience that was kind of attracted to him, but those weren't the people that I was going to make money with. So I had to really shift my content and who I was reaching out to get a better balance. So now it's a little more balanced in terms of male, female, but my number one area is the Chicagoland area. And so you kind of need to know that, and you don't get that in the personal account. So you may not know that you need to sort of shift your content by not having kind of that insight as to who's watching and engaging. And the features are just fantastic. And now you can actually have multiple Instagram accounts and just toggle in between them. You used to have to log out, log back in. So they've made it a little easier to be able to manage multiple accounts. Okay. So I would say, yeah, in a business capacity, go business.
Okay. And I know sometimes some of our childcare owners or even directors might have a multitude of things going on. So maybe they are the business owner of their childcare program, but then they've also launched a training company, like one of our clients, Mary Wardlaw, for CDAs to help directors get their CDAs. So then she's got 2 different entities going on. So she would not just have like a Mary Wardlaw page. She would have a Children's Center page and then National CDA Training Company page. So she would have all these different accounts.
Yeah, because her audiences are going to be completely different, obviously, but they both generate revenue. So she needs to know that she's on track, with attracting the right people and, getting that input and making it really easy for them to get in touch with her. Okay. And then she can have a personal one too, where she does all her fun stuff, which, by the way, everybody, not to say like that is also part of your personal brand. So whatever you put out there personally will at some point, kind of marry up to what you do in business. So while it may be personal, I caution you to always remember you're building a personal brand out there if you put anything out in the social media world.
And that's why I think my personal Facebook page, although it is personal and we've got, high school connections and everybody in the world is your friend, to me, it's really more of a business page or a relationship building tool. It's not really just something where it's, every single detail about my personal life is revealed, although I'm pretty much a transparent person. And you find out lots about me anyways, but it's not like what you would think of as a traditional personal page. It is something that I put out there for clients and everybody to see.
Yeah, and I do the same thing too, which is why I kind of wanted to mention that, because the reality is, and same I'm sure with your, center owners, is that people become friends and come into, there's always, or people start as friends and become clients. So you're always kind of going over those lines, in some capacity. And you know what? Your friends are great sources for referrals. And so we want them to know what we're doing in our business life also, so there's a lot of crossover for me in that place too.
And I'll never ever forget the saying that I heard that said that, people will do business with you when they know, like, and trust you. However, it's not necessarily people who have ever done business with you. Most of your referrals will come from people who have not done business from you, but know, like, and trust you.
Yeah. Or that. It's funny. And, that's one of the reasons I love stories and video so much, is because people feel like they know you. I was doing, as an example, we have Fiesta Days out here in our hometown, and I do all the social media marketing, and Facebook Live is not getting as much reach as it did for a little while. But when we first did that, I would do a little weekly Saturday morning segment talking about the bands that were coming and whatever. I got to the park after doing 4 Facebook Lives, and people that I had no idea who they were walking up and saying, "Oh, you're Bobby, that girl that does the Facebook. You told me to introduce myself, or if you wouldn't have said this, I wouldn't have come." And it happened literally for 3 days solid. And I was like, this is incredible. People think they know me. And what a compliment for them to feel that comfortable that they'd literally approach you because they actually felt like you were friends. And that's amazing. Like, that's an amazing impact to make.
And this is the power of live video. And I swear, if I pick up the phone and call somebody and they've watched my videos, they're like, "Oh, it's Julie and she's calling me,"
Yeah, they know your voice. They know what you laugh about. Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah. So everybody, I want you to keep that in mind. So, a lot of your referral source isn't going to necessarily come from people who have ever done business with you, but they know, like, and trust you. One of the most powerful ways that you can tap into that is through live video and really upping your game and putting yourself out there. So Bobby, let's take them into some mindset shifts. So I know, and if you're anything like me, sometimes it's, hard to push that button on your cell phone
Yes.
or your live button, especially when you feel like, oh, well, my hair could be better or my makeup could be nicer, whatever it might be. So what is it that you go through in your mind to say, whatever. I'm just going to go live and get this message out there.
And that is really the most powerful thing, is to just make the decision to do it. So here's the reason that I think that these live platforms are so popular. We are tired, like as a society, of this overly produced advertising stuff, right? Like we know at this point, advertising could be lies. It could be whatever they want it to be. That's marketing, right? But when you go live, you don't really get that opportunity to totally fake it. And so I think authenticity is what has made this so powerful. It's why there's 10 million reality TV shows, because we're just tired of the scripted stuff. So kind of put that in your head that this is what people want. They're okay with you falling over a word, making a mistake, not looking perfect. Because guess what? None of us are perfect and we all make mistakes. And when we watch you do it live, we relate and you become human versus the Leave It to Beaver mom or whatever that, makes us feel inferior. So it's okay to be a little uncomfortable. I think preparing well will take you so far, just knowing that you have done the right things. And I'll tell you what, Julie, I have this nice little easy PDF of what you do before you go live, what you should do while you're live, and what you do afterwards to optimize it. If anybody goes to our Think Big Go Local page and sends me a direct message and just say, could I have that? I will send it to anybody, to help. Just
put me on your list.
Okay, yeah, I will. Just to help people prep, because there's these little things that you think, what if something goes wrong? I'll make sure that nothing goes wrong while you go live. And you know what? There's just the technology you need is so minimal nowadays that everything else is an excuse. Yes. So you kind of have to convince yourself of that too. Like we could make any excuse we want to not do it. Sometimes the place to do it is like find a safe place. Like if you're in Julie's group, and I don't know what the rules of your group are, but I have a lot of friends that have groups that support, different groups of people, and they'll do these little challenges, like go live in the group because you trust everybody here. These are your people. Find that place where you can do a little live, and people may not know, you can go live on your phone and show it to only yourself. So you can change that audience to say only me. And practice. Do it a few times, watch it back and go, oh, I didn't smile enough. If I smiled more, this would be better. Or, oh, I didn't have a call to action at the end, or I didn't introduce myself, and make yourself some notes and do it a few times till you feel somewhat comfortable. And then remember this, the first time you do it, you're not going to have 10,000 people on. I mean, it just doesn't happen that way. So it's the small little handful of people that are going to hop on because they already know you and they already like you, or they wouldn't be following you in the first place. So it's not as dangerous as I think people want to think that it is. Just be you. People want you. That's why they work with you.
Yes. And you could always delete a video you don't like. And one thing that I started doing was really creating a checklist. I used to do radio and it was like, oh, that show's not perfect, or that audio program's not perfect. Yeah. But every time I did a show, then I would just have a little list in my head, like, okay, these are 3 things I'm going to do differently next time. And so instead of beating myself up, and if you scroll through my business page, you'll see videos where my hair looks like, really bad. Yeah. Glasses are on top of my head. I have no makeup on. There's no lighting. And I'm like, what was I thinking when I recorded that? And Jana's funny sometimes when I'm telling her, like, grab this video. She's like, oh, is that the video where you're wearing your toque? I'm like, my what? She's like, your stocking cap. So I have done videos with like a cap on my head, a stocking cap, because I just had a message to share, and I really encourage everybody, when you think about your live videos, to think about, even though it's nice to have the setting to do your video in, but you're really going to draw people in when you bring them into a different place where there's a different background, whether it's water or you're chasing a sunset. And I get a lot of comments on the videos I do from my porch. It's my happy place. And people are like, when they come over here to my house, they're like, oh, this is the room that you do the videos from. And I've only done a handful of them from that room, but they remember it because it's right on the water and it's my Victorian porch. And so there's real connection there for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, if you watch some big influencers, I have a really strong relationship with Subi Zimmerman, who's like the Instagram expert, and she is always on there in her workout clothes, no makeup, hair a disaster, a hat on because her hair is so gross. Like, I mean, it's just in that moment. And you know what people love about it? It's like, I had something I wanted to tell you guys and I look terrible, but you're more important than my ego is. And I wanted to share this with you. And I think that's so appreciated by people, that she is letting me see her real unpolished self because she wants to share something with me, you know, and that's a big deal too.
And one of my mentors has been Les Brown, and Les Brown has millions of people who follow him.
Yeah.
And recently he was diagnosed with cancer. So he calls himself a cancer conqueror, but it came back in a big way. And he's doing live videos, whether he's getting blood drawn from the hospital room or whatever it might be. You know, and his biggest thing is he talks about not having enough mascara to cover up the gray in his hair, or he couldn't find his mascara, you know. So he's just there laughing, like, you know, in tears, you know. It's like there he is, you know, in the room with getting blood drawn. He's like, okay, who's got my mascara so I can cover up these grays?
And just think about all the people that have gone through that journey who now connect with him in a way that they maybe didn't before, you know, because they see this courageous side maybe, or this vulnerable side, which, by the way, is incredibly powerful too. I think we all feel like we've got to get on there and be super strong and confident. And there is something about going on there and just being vulnerable, and that really attracts people to you.
I think vulnerability is one of the top leadership characteristics there is these days, to really be vulnerable with people. All right, I want to scroll down here in the comments because I know we had a question. I think it was from Stephanie. Let's see here. Okay. So Stephanie wants to know how important it is to have an attractive Instagram feed.
Awesome question, Stephanie. Very important. So I kind of like to frame it this way, which is another reason I like stories, because your stories don't have to be that polished. But if somebody went to your Instagram account, they're going to see like that at least top 9 images that you've shared there. Instagram started as an artistic platform where the best in photography was shared, and there was even all those filters and frames to kind of give it even a little more drama. People really still want to see that on your actual account profile. So I always kind of compare it to, you wouldn't want blurry pictures. You wouldn't want distracting pictures that didn't represent you. Your actual Instagram feed should be that way. It should kind of be your brand magazine. I even look at my pictures and try to frame them in our logo colors. So not everything on there is purple, orange, and green are our colors, but you'll see an awful lot of purple on our Instagram feed because that's representative of our brand. All the other stuff that doesn't really fit there, isn't quite as good, those are the things we share as stories and let come and go, in that 24-hour mark. So yeah, I think it's really important, because someone that goes there, especially for a business, if it's a hot mess when they look at it, they may not hit that follow button. But if they look at it and they're like, this is beautiful, they're going to I follow accounts that I don't even know what they do or care, but their feed is so pretty that I'm like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. I want to follow it, because we all like that inspirational content. So yes, I think it's a really big deal.
Okay, very cool. So before we wrap up, let's just give some really powerful quick tips. So if you were to say, you know what, these are like the 3 things you've got to do, 3 must-dos or 3 must-knows, what would they be? And, I know that you've looked at using the social media in your business as well. And maybe there's some things that you've learned along the way. What is it that you would really like to leave everybody with?
Well, we've talked so much about stories, so I am all into that, but I'm not going to make that one of mine because we already talked about it. One is you've got to do advertising. And I know it's tough and everybody goes, I don't want to spend any more money. But the reality is we've had these free platforms. Yay. Thank you, Facebook and Instagram and everybody else for launching these. But they've gotten crowded and they've gotten just very distracting. And if we want to leverage them to actually make money in our business or to grow an audience of the people we want to serve, the people we enjoy spending our time with, you've got to figure out who they are, target them, And you can do that so well. I think Facebook advertising is one of the most powerful advertising platforms there is, because they know everything, everything about your audience. So investing in advertising and learning how to do it well is a really big deal. I think doing live streaming, whether it's on Instagram or on Facebook, you've got to embrace that. It is one of the only ways to break through all the changes Facebook made to their algorithm. They're still giving preference to that live feed. They're still stopping people and distracting them with, an announcement that you're doing live. So I think that's a really big deal. And you have to figure out how and when and why and what's my purpose. But it's powerful. And then the other thing is, I think that people need to remember that you need to ask for, well, Facebook just changed it last week, but recommendations and reviews about your business are huge, especially for local business owners, because, we've talked a lot about trust tonight, and that is one way to let people know how many other people trust you. So really focusing on, making sure that when someone jumps on and looks for a childcare business in their area, that you've got the reputation to prove that they need to consider you. Facebook just got rid of their star system last week. So now they're calling it recommendations. So people can actually recommend you. They're going to be putting it up at the top of your page. So they're going to now require that people leave a minimum of 25 characters, because for a while you could just do, how many stars and not say anything, which is not the point. So Facebook is starting to kind of reinvent that platform and give it some, new credibility. So you want to pay attention to that too, because we believe what other people say about businesses. That's just the way it is. So pay attention to that.
All right, very cool. Those are some great tips. And again, this is one reason why I really wanted to have Bobby on our program, is because she stays on top of these things. And as a business owner, you have so much to think about. So I really encourage you to get in touch with Bobby, at least the very minimum, join her group. Jana has posted the link for you. So make sure that you get involved and really follow and pay attention to what she's saying. I think you'll learn a lot in a very minimal amount of time. And that's what I always appreciate about you, Bobby, is that there's so much quick information that you give. So thank you for that.
You are so welcome.
And I do have one final question before I let you go, and before I bring Loretta up to talk about brownies and video winners and all that stuff, is as a business owner, especially a high-performing business owner, what is it that you feel really carries you through and helps you sustain your motivation levels, especially in times where either you're burning the candles at both ends or you don't see the results that you're necessarily getting? So what is it that you have done? I'm always fascinated by self-motivation. It's one of my areas of study. So I just wanted to ask you that question.
Yeah. So, that kind of changes. I have found, it kind of is sort of a journey that changes. My answer a couple of years ago, my answer last year would be different than my answer today.
Right.
Today, my morning routine is paramount to me. Like, I need to get up, have a cup of coffee. I'm not going to lie. That has to be the first thing that happens. But I meditate every morning, and I really focus on I want to be very intentional with what value I provide, what I want to learn next. Everything that I want to learn is really primarily with the sole purpose of teaching it to our audience. So, to me, it's starting my day with, a clear mind, meditation, and then spending my day with a lot of intention. A couple years ago, it was much more about work, and give value, but which was great. And I know everybody appreciated it, but I got really burnt out from having that mindset. So that's why I said it's kind of a journey, but you got to take care of yourself, and you've got to be really focused on what you want to do in any given day to really take it on and do it. So.
And I agree with you. And I think self-care is so incredibly important. One of our viewers, Regina, is such an advocate for self-care. Anytime I watch her Facebook feed, she's always talking about massage, this, that, this other thing.
Oh, yes.
So, and I'm incorporating that into my routine as well. So I think it's critically important. Is there one book that you have read that you feel has changed your life?
Oh, gosh. I read so many books. There's one that I am loving, and I'm not even done with it yet, but it's by, it's Don Miller, and it's The Stories. Oh my gosh, it's on my table. I don't know what it is. Profit First is a great book. And then it's The Story Builder. Yeah, those are both fantastic books. for business. Because even that self-care thing sometimes isn't even just about like what your routine is, but it could be about things like I have to delegate because I'm taking on too much. So, I mean, like it's different for all of us. So, you know, even from a business perspective, taking care of yourself might mean running your business a little different to free up, you know, your time. So,
yes. Or yeah, hiring somebody to do your dishes and clean your kitchen, you know?
Yes.
Yes. So it could take all different forms.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, Bobby, it's been such a delight. And like I said, when I first started the show, I really wanted to have, I always thought about Carol Burnett and Friends, you know, so this is Julie and Friends, and Bobby and I go way back. So we attended the same high school. We've had some similar friends over the years. And I don't know if there's any other connections that we have, but we're pretty much in the same local area. So
yeah, well, you know, and it's fun because as we, you know, as you grow up and you realize, oh yeah, look at her go. Yeah, those are the people I want to keep in my circle. Those are the people I want to stay connected to because you motivate me watching what you build and do. And, you know, it's always exciting when you say, thank you for that. I'm like, yes, I'm giving back because I love that. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Bobby, thank you so much for tuning in.
You're
and remember,
welcome. Thank you.
Go and connect with Bobby on her group or at Think Big, Go Local. And I don't think you'll be disappointed with the quality of information that you're going to be getting from my friend Bobby. So, Bobby, thanks so much for being here.
You're welcome.
I hope you'll come back.
Anytime. Absolutely anytime. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.
All right, I'm going to lower Bobby back down, and in just one moment, I'm going to bring Loretta up. But again, make sure that you at least follow Bobby on her social media, Clambake. You won't be disappointed with the quality of information that you get there. And I am always so impressed in tuning into her videos. Whenever it says Bobby's going live, I'm like, okay, what information can I grab? So I'm going to bring Loretta up, who's going to help us give some prizes away. Loretta is our Chief of Happiness, who you will get to know in our closed Facebook group, and she is doing just that, helping everybody become incredibly happy and cheering folks on. Hey, Loretta.
Hey, how are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Fantastic to have you here.
Thank you. I'm sorry we had technical difficulties getting started.
That's okay. Well, I'm glad that you're able to join us now. So we've got some things coming up. We've got brownies to give away. We've got a marketing video to give away. Do you know who our prize winners are?
I do. Big, huge props to Jonna for keeping track since I was completely out of the loop for most of the show. But
thank you, Jonna.
Engaging, so I appreciate that. But she's given me the names, and we are good to go.
Perfect. And I also want to remind everybody, if you are looking to transform your workplace, you absolutely cannot miss our event coming up October 7th and 8th. In the Boston, Massachusetts area, which is the Create My Dream Team Experience. Create My Dream Team Experience. And if you're not sure if that's an event that you and your leadership team will benefit from, make sure you drop us a comment right here under the show, or shoot me or Jonna or Loretta a private message, or join our group and send us over a comment. But we'd love to have you there. And people who have attended in the past have described it as absolutely transformational. So we really want to help as many people create their dreamy childcare programs as possible. And one step is to definitely come on out and join us for that program. We currently have a great early bird rate that's still in effect that you can take advantage of. Should they come, Loretta?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is incredible. You will not be sorry, not for one split second. It will be wonderful.
All right. And let's also make sure that we get Bobby over some brownies too.
Ooh, Bobby, okay. Enjoy those.
Right. So let's go ahead and announce our brownie winner. And if you're here tuning in live, say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know if you enjoyed the show and maybe what was most impactful for you. And if you're tuning into the replay, feel free to do the same. I do come back and read through all comments. And I'll also encourage our guests, if you have questions, to come on back and answer those. And Jay Whitney was our guest last week, and he stayed online, I think, for like 2 hours with everybody, answering questions about buying, selling, and expanding. And if you missed that show, make sure you go to our YouTube station, subscribe, and tune in to all the replays there. So Jonna will also drop that link for you to our YouTube station. So let's go ahead and share who our brownie winner is for this evening. Drum roll, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Here we go.
The brownie winner tonight is Karen Cotter.
Woo, Karen.
Karen, you are
nice job, Karen. You got to get some of the yummiest brownies on the planet. All right. Now we have a video marketing winner. And this is something new that we started, but my team is going to put together a marketing video for you that you could use to announce enrollments or jobs or birthdays or just anything that you want to. And you can think of it like creating a PowerPoint presentation, and then we put it all into a really cool video for you that encourages the engagement. All right, so let's see who our winner is with that. Ready?
Love it. Love the drum roll. All right. The winner of the free marketing video with the topic of your choice is Sarah Bouton.
Woo, Sarah. Awesome job. Nice.
I hope I pronounced her last name correctly.
I hope so too. But if not, I think she'll still claim the prize.
Okay.
Right?
Let me know.
And in order to get the prize, you do need to claim it. Be in touch with Jonna, or Jonna will get in touch with you. But there's a prize claim form, and that way we don't have to track you down for your address and your information. So you do fill out the form, and then your prize gets sent to you, or instructions on how to claim your prize. All right, Loretta, is there anything else that I need to let everybody know before we wrap up?
You mentioned Boston. That's the big one. Show again next Monday. Engage, invite your friends, have them tag you so that you can win the video prize for next week.
Yes.
I think you got it all.
All right. Yeah. So great reminder. Perfect opportunity right now. Starting tonight, you have the opportunity to get the next video marketing prize. All you have to do is be the most engaged member in our group. So make sure that you are a member of our Childcare Business Success group, and you will be entered into win that video. So that's really exciting. All right. So I think we had a pretty great show. What do you think? Of the content was good?
What I saw was fantastic.
Yes.
I've always said I'm not cool enough for Instagram. It's really just because I haven't taken the time, but I definitely use Facebook, and I take in all the information, and one day I will expand and broaden my horizons.
Over to Instagram.
Or Instagram or whatever those crazy kids are doing these days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know we just touched on the surface with Bobby, and that's why I encourage everybody to make sure you join her group, and we'll have her back again. But I hope you got a wealth of information from the show, and we can't wait for next Monday's show. And remember, be engaged. And Loretta's going to be helping you in the group to be engaged also, and she'll be asking questions maybe about the show or about different things. And we're trying to make it as easy as possible to be really one of the most engaged communities for childcare owners and directors on Facebook. So super exciting. All right, so I think that's a wrap. We're going to wrap it up here, and I'm actually off to do some private dance lessons tonight. Working on my East Coast and West Coast swing. And yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you reach out to me if you need a transformation in your childcare program. All you have to do is send me a private message or make a comment, tag me in it. It is that easy. And then Jonna will note and get you on my calendar so that we can have a conversation and see how we can best help you really take your childcare business success to a whole new level. And I always state that my mission is to help you fall madly in love with every aspect of how you manage your childcare program so that your life personally and professionally can indeed become dreamy. I'm Julie Bartkus, and I'd like to thank Jonna and Stephanie and Loretta, our Chief of Happiness, for being here this evening and helping me make this show an incredibly informative and inspirational one. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.